We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. Hey, see, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us, we them nothing but Niners. Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but we them nothing but Niners.
Click, click, boom! What's going on, faithful to Nothing But Niners crew is back. Guys, we are here to bring you guys a wonderful show. I can't wait to get into it. But before we do, fellas, how y'all doing?
What up, what up, what up?
Breezy, what's going on, man?
Wrong way.
He gone.
Wrong way.
Can y'all hear me?
We hear you now, but you're looking the wrong way.
Oh, I couldn't remember which way I was supposed to look. I thought I had it this time. Man, bump y'all cats, man. What's going on, man? Look. It's past day 2. So let's talk, man, because there was some hitting, some bitting, some getting, some kittens. It was all that stuff on the field today, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to get into all of that stuff, and I can't wait to do that. But before we do, we have to go through the formalities. Guys, first time here on the YouTube page, thank you for checking us out. If you enjoy the show, hit that like button. Make sure you also subscribe and turn on your notifications so you know when we're going live without a warning, okay? Give us a follow on Twitter and Snapchat. That is Nothing But 9 ERS. That is the number 9, Nothing But 9 ERS. Give us a follow on Instagram, Twitch, and Facebook at Nothing But Niners. Like they said in the song, right? You heard the intro. Nothing
But
Niners, right? You see it right there. Also, it's the website, www.nothingbutniners.com. Your one-stop shop for any and everything 49ers from us here at Nothing But Niners. And last but certainly not least, shopnbniners.com. You see the caps that the boys rocking. You see they won't even send me a gator, right? Like these you see how they hating on me, right? They want me to be the outcast. That's crazy, right? Like that's wild. That is wild, but it's cool. It's all good. I appreciate
your bank card wants you to be an outcast.
Oh, now it's my bank card. Like
he putting your
like
Nick be on that.
Like his work when we tried it.
Oh,
You know
shots back, bang, bang, bang.
No,
I like
that's
that.
because you want a black gator and they're not in stock right now. So
if you knew that, why try to make it like it was my bank card? You see how Nick just be hating?
You're right. I'm trying to believe the referee.
But hey,
Nick tried to hit below the belt. You got back.
And
you know
yes, like he just out here spreading false narratives. Mike broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
no, not that you're broke. Not that you're broke.
But that's what people might think when you say his bank card don't work, bro. We black, cuz you can't say that about a black man and their bank card. Look, decline. Nick was like, yo, they cut your shit up, yo.
right? He tried to put it all out. I told y'all this was the clapback season. Y'all got me with the whole white Megatron, right? Y'all got me. Y'all put it out there.
Nick did that, y'all. All I said was whatever I said.
Get you trying to get off the butt. Hey,
nah, but I never said like I didn't say that.
It's cool. I'm just saying, just know what's coming later on.
I'm cool, man. I can take it. I'm a big boy. Big boys don't cry. You feel me?
So let's talk about this white Megatron. The team has lost another wide receiver. We're going to start with the breaking news and stuff like that.
Ouch.
Okay. We gave some wrong information. We heard that Jalen Hurd had returned back to practice.
I didn't hear that, but I just went along with what y'all said y'all heard. Right. Yeah.
And so he more throwing Mike into it. It's cool. I
heard it too. I heard it too.
I didn't hear he returned. I heard he walked off the field by himself.
I heard it was cramps, and then he returned back to the field later on.
Okay,
practice.
that's fine.
Wrong. It has turned out that the young man is believed. We still don't have confirmation, but is believed to have torn his ACL and is out for the season. Kyle Shanahan is already talking about moving on. He did confirm that he will be back with the team next season. They don't plan on releasing this young man. That tells me how excited Kyle Shanahan is for him. But either way, he won't be here for this coming season. He has not been placed on IR yet, but they have confirmed that the team has not confirmed it's an ACL, but his agent has.
His agent
has, correct.
Right. So that means that the Niners are right back to the drawing board. So I went and looked, and Kyle Shanahan said he needs 11 wide receivers to get through camp because they drop like flies. And damn, if he wasn't right.
I told you.
every practice we're losing another wide receiver, right? So let's just start right here, right? The Niners might be looking for some more wide receivers.
I told you.
Who's out there on the market that you guys might be interested in? I've heard Des Bryant. I've heard Antonio Brown. I have heard the Black Megatron. I have heard.
Wait, who's the Black Megatron? Oh, himself. No, I didn't know. Yo, okay, all right. I didn't know you actually meant him coming out of retirement, though. I thought you know what I'm saying? Des Bryant didn't retire. He just can't get a job. Like, I didn't know you meant that. But, I mean, there's Taylor Gabriel. There was another guy I mentioned, too. Can't remember his name.
Well, is there anybody out there that you guys are interested in the team going out and getting? Or do we want to see guys like Sean Poindexter come from the depths and get a chance to, make a name for themselves?
Let me ask you this question, guys, about Sean Poindexter. Do you think he hasn't got any burn just because of being low on the depth chart, or does he just not understand, or can he not grasp the playbook yet? Because usually Kyle gives guys chances. Even Richie James got chances, but we saw how limited Richie James was. So do you think that's a possibility?
I think Richie James got chances because of his special teams prowess. So he was active for those reasons anyway.
Josh Gordon was the other guy. Thank you.
Josh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Sean. I'm gonna assume that he was just getting beat out by everybody else.
Okay, that's fair.
Didn't he have an injury? Didn't he have an injury last year in camp?
I don't think he had an injury. He could have, but I don't think he was one of those that were injured. It just seems like he's always on the team, but he's never dressed.
Always on the team, never on the field. Like that's just how it kind of feels with him. But all right, so let's go here. Let's get a quick round answer really quick. Yes or no.
Okay.
Do you think the Niners should sign another wide receiver?
I say yes. I think you go and get another low risk, high reward guy, right? And if I had to pick, if you gave me a list of names, and let's say you put Josh Gordon, Des Bryant, and Taylor Gabriel up there. Let's leave AB out of this because that causes too much controversy. Let's say you put those three receivers out there, right? I think I'm going to go with Des Bryant. I think for once, I would like to see the 49ers get a big freaking body wide receiver. I've just never seen him with a big body wide receiver. How about that? Like, I would like to see what it looks like. I know we have Juwan Jennings, but he's not. I don't know if he's going to be stretching the field and like how Des Bryant can, because he's not as fast as Des Bryant. But I would like to see Des Bryant in this offense. And Des put out a tweet. I know you're trying to shut me up, but he put out this tweet. He said, I want to be on the team. I don't mind if a team wants to run the ball all the time. That's what he said.
1,000 times.
Yes, he did.
But
then you be everywhere, dog. You a ghost.
I be on it, man. I got to pay attention to what's going on with our squad as much as I can. See, when I come in here with wrong information, y'all don't let me live it down, like hearing that American practice, right? So I got to make sure the little bit of information I do bring is got to be right and something I see with my own eyes. I will say that I do believe that Jennings is faster than Des Bryant at this point in his career. Now, rookie Des versus rookie Jennings might be something a little different, but I think Des is washed.
That's fair.
That's just me.
You mean washed with speed or just period?
Period.
Okay, that's fair. He looks good.
Sean Poindexter had an ACL last year. He got injured on a Monday night game on a special teams play.
Oh, he played in the real game?
It was Monday night preseason, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Preseason win over Denver.
Gotcha.
So, Nick, are you of the belief that we need to bring in another wide receiver?
Right now, what do we have?
Off the backs of just 4 days ago, we signed two other wide receivers.
Yeah, so we have JJ
and Austin.
And Austin.
Nelson and Austin. And then we lost one.
You lost her. So what do we have right now? We have
let's go
Nelson, Austin, Debo. I'm going to count Debo because he's not on the PUP list. So
that's fair.
I'm going to count him.
Pettis.
Bourne, Taylor, Pettis,
Jennings,
Ayuk,
James,
and Poindexter.
James is not on the PUP list?
He is. Well, he's on the.
He's not on the PUP list yet.
He's on the NFI list?
He's on the inactive list right now. So he's not
football injury list. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not practicing, but he.
So how
obviously-
many was that you named? 10?
That's 10.
And
You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
well, Sean Poindexter would make it 11.
10. Yeah,
Right,
no, it's 10. It's
right?
10.
10. Yeah, Poindexter's 10.
Oh,
It was 11 before Hurd got hurt.
Right.
and they were bringing in Jerron Brown, right?
Jerron Brown. Matt
has to
Maiocco is
go.
reporting that if he passes his COVID test, he'll be on the practice field.
So
this
that
week.
makes it 11. There you
He
go.
said that today
Jaron.
on the 49ers live look-in.
There you go. That's 11.
So that'll be your 11th guy right there. So it's obviously that hasn't been posted yet or anything like that confirmed that he'll be signing. Obviously, he has to pass a COVID test 3 days in a row, and then can go and do his practice and physical, I believe. That's what Matt Maiocco was saying today on the live look-in. So that would make 11. So I mean, I think they kind of roll with that. If they bring in Jerron Brown, I think they roll with that because you got to think he needs bodies right now for camp, right? But the thing is this camp battle is going to be really good with receivers. Like it's not going to be hard to guess your 7, but with injuries to certain guys that we had making this team, like Jalen Hurd, obviously, that opens up another spot where we said, Tavon Austin and JJ Nelson could literally be camp bodies, right? But they have a legit chance of making the squad now. I would hold it 10. See what happens with Jerron Brown. Obviously, if Jerron Brown doesn't sign here, then I think they're going to go for another. Because you heard Kyle Shanahan say he likes going to camp with 11.
Correct.
And he's carried 7 receivers his entire career here as a head coach. Now, will that change this year and he'll hold 8? Because of the fact that the 55, if you start another offensive lineman, have another offensive lineman active?
I think the only time he didn't have 7 was once Goodwin got injured down the stretch. They replaced him with a defensive lineman, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember another wide receiver getting bumped up when Goodwin went down towards the end of the season. I don't remember that.
I think they still had 7 on, but they just kept making receivers inactive because they kept making Goodwin inactive before he went on the IR.
Right.
You remember they kept bringing back.
But what I'm saying,
Jordan Matthews. Yeah.
But he was never active. Not active. He was never even like in there for game day.
No, he was.
Yeah, Matthews was.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Matthews played in games. They caught passes in games.
Yeah, after Goodwin got injured? No, he didn't.
Yeah.
I'm going to Google this.
Now check this out, guys. Something you guys aren't really mentioning is the fact that due to COVID this year, we're allowed to have 16-man practice squads, and 6 of those players can be veterans. And notice some of the
passes for the 49ers last year.
Correct. He didn't have 0 catches, but he did dress. Now notice the veteran receivers that they're bringing in, or some of the veteran players that they're bringing in. So it's possible that some of these guys may be stashed on the practice squad for whatever reason. Now, of course they have to clear waivers right before they get to the practice squad. Another team can't pick them up, or I forgot how that works. But if they are clear and they're able to make it to the practice squad, I think that's what Kyle's genius is trying to do this, because I believe we're going to go with 7 guys. And I think 2 will remain on the practice squad, and then 2 will be somehow, on call just in case an injury happens. And that's pretty much his theory on having so many wide receivers. I know people say, oh, why we got so many wide receivers? Well, it's because they keep getting dinged up.
All right, so here we go. Matthews did not play for the 49ers beyond week 12, and Goodwin went on IR in week 13. Week 13 was his last one.
Mm-hmm.
And Matthews' last game active with the Niners was week 12. So no, he never played with the team after Goodwin was here. He wasn't even on the roster anymore.
I thought they brought him back. I thought he got kicked off the roster, and then they brought him back.
They booted him and brought him back twice.
Yeah, toward the end of the season.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at his game log right here. He never played after Goodwin went down. That's what I'm saying. I think that, but anyway, we're getting sidetracked. I just like being right because y'all been rubbing smut on my name and my credit
I'll
card,
go
so-
back and watch all the games. I could have swore that cat.
I'm telling
was
you,
brought back.
he played later in the season when we brought him back.
No, it would. Be
I don't know if he played, but I know they brought him back.
And I do think this. I'm going to agree with Nick on the original question of whether or not we should sign someone else. It depends on what happens with Brown. Brown is another 6'3", 200+ pound guy, much like Hurd. Now Hurd was 6'4.5" or 4 3/4, so he's not quite the same size, but he would be one of the biggest wide receivers on the team, and he's got a little bit of giddy up in him too. So I like that signing another veteran. If I could have it my way, if things don't work out with him though, Martavis Bryant. I've been saying it for a long time.
Bro, get off the Martavis Bryant.
Nope, never.
Get
Never,
off
never,
of it.
never,
the
never.
dude has done nothing else in the league.
Except when he's playing, he's phenomenal. Other than that, he's done nothing. You're right. So
When he's playing,
digress.
he's phenomenal.
He was dookie in the Raiders system, and he was okay in the Steelers system. He was just
Who wasn't Dookie in the Raider system as a wide receiver?
Tim Brown.
With all right, I see the kind of show we have.
No, you asked
You said with the Raiders. He answered your question.
That's all I'm saying.
So Martavis Bryant and Tim Brown were on. Okay, all
I
right.
didn't say they played at the same time.
You didn't
asked
say
me.
who was on that team at the same time that didn't suck.
I see the kind of show we have.
No, that's
I
not
like the silliness.
It is
I
what it is. There's nothing silly about it. You asked me a
literally said,
question.
Who else on the Raiders didn't suck?
I am saying I agree with y'all, and y'all trying to argue me down against agreeing with y'all. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
good.
taking me
I'm with it. I'm with it now. So I see where the energy is. I like it. I'm gonna match that energy. Now we have to keep it moving though. We spent 17 minutes talking about a damn wide receiver.
And you said Jerome Brown has a little bit of giddy up. The dude runs a 4.4.
He is
That's
fast.
more than a little giddy up.
Well, that's what I was saying though. He's got the speed and he's got the size. We don't have that kind of combination on this roster.
He's faster than Kittle.
Yeah,
Does he run better routes than Kittle? Shut up.
he does. He just needs to run the straight route, the one right past the guy that's covering him and catch the ball. That's it. That's all we would need him for.
So all right. So listen to this. We also lost another offensive lineman. Now it's supposed to be temporary. It's an ankle sprain, but damn. What's his name?
Ben Garland.
Ben Garland. I was going to say Ben Garland. Thank you. Ben Garland went down, sprained ankle. Did they say it was a high ankle sprain or just an ankle sprain? Because there's a big difference.
I thought they said it was an ankle sprain, and it was the first degree ankle sprain on top of that. So it wasn't like. Listen, I've been dealing with ankle sprains all fucking day. All right, so I'm a Celtics fan. Gordon Hayward got a 3rd degree ankle sprain, which means he has some type of torn ligament within the ankle sprain. If Ben Garland and he's gonna miss about 4 weeks. That's the guy that has to jump up and down, make cuts and all that stuff. If Ben Garland only has a 1st degree ankle sprain, he's gonna be just fine. Just let him rest. Treat him like we treating Eric Armstead right now. He's pretty much got the starting position sewed up. Let him go ahead and heal up and then bring him on back.
Right.
But
now,
we need some depth.
We do need depth because right now the only active center we would have on the roster is Brunskill. Okay, it doesn't mean that he's the only one on the roster. There's no one behind him. So if Brunskill, God forbid, knocking hard on some wood, if God forbid Brunskill goes down, we are screwed on that offensive line. So
Chopped and screwed. Correct.
The team, it turns out they reached out to former 49er
Kilgore.
Daniel Kilgore. Now we mentioned him in the last show when we were talking about possibly bringing another lineman.
Isn't that amazing?
No. We were talking about
Magnuson,
Eric
Kilgore,
Magnuson.
Eric Magnuson. That's what we brought
and
up.
there was another. I thought we mentioned 3 linemen. I could be wrong, but Kilgore is definitely somebody I would not mind seeing come back, bro.
Didn't we trade Kilgore to the Dolphins? Like
After Jimmy Garoppolo said, I have such a good repertoire with Daniel Kilgore, and then we traded him.
Yeah. But they did it in good gesture too. Like they traded him to it was something good about it. I can't remember what
It wasn't good.
He
He had just signed a contract, and they were like, "Yeah, psych." See,
all right, whatever.
He had just signed an extension for like 2 or 3 years, and then they traded him.
Well,
Oh,
I
well.
think that was the thing. They traded him instead of just cutting him.
Cutting him. That's what it was. That was the gesture.
Yeah,
Right.
they traded him instead of cutting him.
Thanks, Nick.
So would you guys be opposed to Brunskill? Damn.
Nope.
Kilgore. Number
Nope.
67 is what he rocked.
Nope.
Returning.
Nope.
I like Daniel Kilgore. I did. I know he wasn't the best center out there, but he was the first center we had after what's the guy's name? Goodwin from the Saints, right?
Jonathan
from
Goodwin was
to
with
him.
us. That's right.
Yeah, we went from Goodwin to Kilgore.
Yep.
So I like it. If they actually reach out to him, I like it, man. So that's a good thing. Is there another center and offensive lineman that you guys think maybe we should look at now? Because the other option is that they keep Brunskill at center, and then we just look for another guard because Brunskill was supposed to be the starting guard.
But do you think this is where Colton McKivitz gets his reps in and really shows what he can do? I mean, they drafted him. You know what I'm saying? And apparently he's a mauler. So I think the versatility, being able to be versatile like Brunskill is the reason why he's a 49er. I mean, he goes out there and puts up good film, puts out good play, but this guy can play pretty much every position on the offensive line. You talk about having a Justin School who's your swing tackle, but now you're talking about having Daniel Brunskill who's your swing offensive lineman. That's just ridiculous. So I don't want to see that happen because we want our depth. We want our guys to play, but we want depth, right? So I know he is a starter. We don't want him to be, but then who would be his depth? That would be the question that we're asking. If you have him starting, who would end up being depth? And now you're really, when you're playing trench football, you want to make sure you have the next guy in there. You know, I think Salah said it today. They might not be better, but they will keep the game moving because if they were better, they would be starters. So it's going to be awkward. I don't know if we heard that the 49ers camp reached out to his camp. So
look at Nick's thigh.
I got shorts on though.
What the?
Look at Nick's thigh. It's so red. It's like crab
It's
legs.
not red, bro.
It matches your shirt, Nick.
I'm telling you, it's not red. It's the lighting here.
And now we're talking about Brunskill. And I'm sorry, Breeze. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Finish your thought. I'm sorry, bro.
No, it's all good, man. Look, I say they reached out to his camp. Hopefully his camp will respond. They probably going to give the 49ers a hard time due to the way they parted ways a few years back. But let's see what happens, man. You want to make sure that you have depth and great depth on top of that. Like you don't want to just bring in anybody. So I don't know about any more centers in the league because I don't follow centers. I know the really good ones get talked about, but if we can get some guys that we know that's been here already, that would be pretty cool.
Well, we're going to go from Daniel Brunskill's bald head to another bald head of our own who might know about some free agent centers. We're going to bring Tony back in here. Oh, he tried to hide it, looking like Fester Adams now. Take that off and let the cue balls shine.
It's freaking cold. I'm right by the water. It's freezing over here. There's a wind off the water.
I'm in here sweating, so take it for what it's worth. I'll trade places with you. Listen, bro, we're talking about the offensive lineman. Is there anybody else we should be looking to bring in? Now, they reached out to Brunskill. However, they didn't say that they extended an offer to him. What I think that means is they're waiting to find out.
Kilgore.
I keep saying Brunskill. I'm sorry. You guys got to forgive me for that. They talked to him. They reached out to his camp, but they didn't offer an extension. That tells me that they're trying to see the severity of the injury, the ankle injury. Right? I know they said it was grade 1, but like, can he get back in a week? Can he get back in a couple of days? What are your thoughts on it, Tony? And who, if any, centers should we be considering?
There's actually a center that I think Mike Garfolo reported it. He's from the Bears. He was a 3rd or 4th round pick from Oregon. He started 16 games, I believe, or is 14 games. He was a 14-game starter. I forgot his damn name though, but I definitely think they're gonna have to add somebody because behind Brunskill, there's nobody. So you can't go into the season because there's no preseason games with just Brunskill as your center when he was supposed to be the starting right guard. So, I mean, that's the only one I know of besides him and Kilgore. Those are the only two that I heard of.
But if our guy that's playing center is supposed to be the starting guard, then regardless, that means the team should be looking to bring in someone else, right?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
What do you guys think about that?
Because there's a new rule now, and I heard Grant Cohen
This is
say
getting put
this.
up here. That's
Is it his
Too
name?
much. You can't afford them, bro.
Is his name Hronis? Does that name sound familiar, Tony?
Yeah, no, that's the guy from the
Hronis
Bears.
Grasu? Yeah.
Yeah. But Grant Coleman said something like that the reporters are not allowed to report injuries, and no one's going to find out the injury until the team says it. So basically, the way I take that is they're just telling you he's injured. They're not going to tell you the severity. Because I heard from what I made of it that they got pissed that everyone knew about Jalen Hurd, and it was spread around the social media like wildfire. So they redid their way of the reporting injuries, and now no one's allowed to report it until the team says it.
You know what's interesting about that? What if the reporter didn't mention what happened with Jalen Hurd, right? And then the team just slowly pushed it in there when they wanted to. Do you think that causes him to cancel all of his social media accounts? Because it was the backlash from the faithful as soon as it happened that caused him to do that. The team hadn't officially announced anything yet, and he had already closed down his social media accounts. Do you think that something like that would prevent this from happening with the team implementing this new standard of not reporting injuries that you guys see?
It could be possible. I agree with what you're saying, but I just think they want everything so tight-lipped, especially because there's no – especially like they said that there's no – you're not allowed to record one-on-ones. You're not allowed to record team drills. You're not allowed to record anything except for, when Keanu Martin's live with like Matt Mayoko, when they're doing just like their warm-ups and stretches and calisthenics. Yeah, that's it. Because now that there's no preseason game, it gives the Niners an upper hand because there's no film, and they don't want to put nothing on social media so other teams can see it because, believe it or not, teams do look at this shit because there's nothing to look at now. So they want everything tight-lipped to not pick up on the young talent that could be possibly on the practice squad or not make the final 55. So that could be part of the reason I think they're so tight-lipped about things, especially with video recordings by reporters.
It's going to be interesting because, look, it hasn't come out yet that it's a high ankle sprain. There's more tests to be done, obviously, right? It just came out as an ankle sprain. A high ankle sprain is usually 4 to 6 weeks, right? 6 weeks at the most with a high ankle sprain, or at the least, usually. If it's not a high ankle sprain, look, we still got 3.5 weeks before the season starts. Like, he could possibly come back. He could just not practice. He knows the system already. He could still be the starting center, start week 1. It's just a matter of seeing what that other report comes out, because obviously he has to get tests done, right? It just came out that he had a sprain today. Don't know if it's a high ankle, if it's a mild, if it's some. I think, Wayne, you said it was a grade 1, or was that?
That's what I heard. Also, I did hear it was.
I read that it was a grade 1 ankle sprain, which meant that it's probably like a week to week thing.
Right? Yeah, a grade 1 is not severity is not bad. If you get into grade 2s, grade 3s, depending on where it's at.
Yeah, grade 3 usually mean there's some type of tear in the ligament. So that's not what I'm hearing.
Correct.
And here's the thing, guys. Is Richburg definitely not coming back week 1? We know that for a fact.
No, he can't. He's on the PUP list, so he's going to be out for first 6 weeks.
So he's out for first 6 weeks. So Ben Garland, they might just roll with this. They might just, if Garland can't start week 1, they may just roll with the Brunskill sliding over. You move over the rookie to guard, and then or Tom Compton. Tom Compton is we got him. We signed him too. This might be a way for him to step up to play that right guard position, and they might just have to rock with this. It's just what it is.
All right, so here we are, 30 minutes in, guys. Let's move on from here. This is going to be something we're going to keep our eyes and ears peeled on. We will continue to correct ourselves. If it turns out it's not a grade 1 strain, we will correct ourselves in the following shows as soon as we hear it. Correct. Much like what we did with the misinformation we had last show on the Jalen Hurts situation. But there were a lot of pressers that we heard since our last show. I believe, did Kyle Shanahan speak again? It was Robert Saleh. We're from Robert Saleh, Kinlaw. We finally got to see Kinlaw at the microphone.
He was driving me nuts with that tapping.
That's a nervous tick. I got a lot to say about him.
Yeah, I do too.
There was
Yeah.
Kerry Hyder, who a lot of
Yeah.
people don't know much about. I feel like it's on us to kind of inform the people about his relationship and his history.
And Jimmy Garoppolo.
Heard from
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo talked today too.
How did I miss that? I didn't see a Garoppolo in presser. Damn. All right, so y'all gonna be filling me in on Garoppolo. There's still somebody else. Oh wait, what am I acting like I don't know? I got my notes. Hold on.
There was somebody else. I only saw 4.
No, hold on. Oh,
Salah.
We
no,
said
he
He
Salah.
said solid, yeah.
It was Hyder, Jimmy.
we did hear from head coach Kyle Shanahan again.
Okay.
Yeah, so we
No,
got
I didn't see Kyle's today.
him, Salah. I'm not saying it was today. It could have been yesterday. It could have been, but since the last time we did a show, we heard from.
I think it was yesterday.
He was talking about Bourne. Well, that's one of my notes. We got Salah, Hyder, we have, and Kinlaw. So which one do you guys want to start? How about we start with Garoppolo? I'm going to listen attentively here because I didn't hear anything. So let's hear what you guys have to say about Jimmy Garoppolo's pressure because I missed it. I completely missed it.
Go ahead, Wayne. You start off.
Well, they pretty much asked Jimmy about, a lot of the wide receivers. They asked him, let's see, about his success. They asked him the question about being a quarterback in the second year quarterback in Kyle's system and how the success in the other quarterbacks like Matt Ryan, forgot the other guy that they mentioned, had success in their second years in a Kyle Shanahan system. They asked him like how he felt about that. He's like, yo, I've definitely been watching those guys play. We've been watching a lot of film on those guys, things like that. They asked him, Jennifer asked him about the knee brace. He says, look, knee feels great. I just wear it as a precaution or whatnot. She also asked him about the battles on the edges. So he talked about the battle between, oh my God, Trent Williams, Bosa, and then McGlinchey and D Ford. So they talked a little bit about those battles. He said they looks great. He's like, look, one guy wins one rep, and then the next time they go around, the other guy wins the other rep. So he says all they're doing is just making each other better. It's like iron sharpening iron. And that's really cool because you're getting some really good savvy veterans in there, and then you have these young guys who are winning some of these battles, right? So I really like that. And then they asked him 2 questions about Dante Pettis. And it was weird when he answered the questions because he tried his best to like reroute the question about the rest of the wide receivers on the team. So it wasn't like he had a solidified answer about Dante Pettis, but he did say he was out there progressing, right? So the first question that was asked to him, let's see if I can find it in my notes. He says, they asked about the Dante Pettis reconnection. He's like, look, he's been coming along. All right. And that was his answer. He's been coming along. He said, we're just going to keep getting out there and keep rolling at it, keep getting at it. We're going to go out there and just keep getting at it. But he's coming along. And then the second question they asked him about was Dante Pettis' attitude. And he was like, he's putting his best foot forward out there. Like, that was pretty much it. Like, that was as much. I mean, maybe he's not seeing much of Dante Pettis or whatnot, but that's what he got from Dante. And then he just rerouted it to how the other wide receivers are working pretty hard. They're working, to get out there. They asked him about his what did they think about the rookie from Brandon Ayuk? And it was pretty much it. So that would pretty much be the Jimmy Garoppolo's presser. The last thing was the deep ball. If anyone of you if you saw that, you want to talk about the deep ball, he answered that too.
Yeah, he just said they asked Kyle Posey asked, he asked him about his Jordans, and he also asked him about his deep ball. Is that something that he's practiced more this offseason? And Jimmy just said, look, I practice that every season. You know what I mean? Like, I don't shy away from that because he said, it seems like you had a couple deep balls in practice so far this year already. Is that like something that Kyle's making an emphasis? Are you working more on that? And he said, I work on my deep ball every year, he just said that you can always get better. And that's pretty much what he said. He didn't say that, there's nothing I can really do about it or anything like that. He basically just said, I practice that every year. It's coming along, and, hopefully we got the guys that, he's like, it is a good thing that I got guys that can run after and get under the ball, talking about his receivers. And that was pretty much it.
Do you think he was taking a shot at Emmanuel Sanders on that one? Because he said that twice. He said it's a good thing we have guys that have it that can run those deeper routes, posts, and go routes.
Yeah,
I
he
just-
did. He said post and go routes and get underneath the ball.
Yeah. But then he put the stupid disclaimer in there saying, I just got to get it out there for him. But
Yeah.
I want to know if that was a shot, a little shot. What did you think, Mike? Because that's something Mike would
I
ask.
didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it, but I love what y'all saying. I'm gonna say, hell yeah, he was taking a shot. Hell yeah, he was taking a shot. You know, hey, listen, y'all know I would have came in here with that one like that was something juicy. Y'all know me, man. I would have been all over that. Let's go. Now, I did go back and listen to a couple of things. One, I want to say the hat that he was wearing today is this one right here. So this is the hat that Garoppolo was wearing today at the presser. All right, you guys can get this. I don't know where you can get this, honestly. This might be a 49ers in-house exclusive because that's where we got this one from, right, Nick? So, yeah, that might be an in-house. I don't know if other people have that hat or not. If you have it, cool. It's too small for my big-ass head, so I'll never wear it. But I did notice that when he first started the presser, everyone's been praising Dante Pettis. His route running, going across the middle, a little fearless and da-da-da-da-da, catching everything. He said the P word when he was talking about Dante Pettis. And no, I'm not talking about Pussycat. He said the physicality that he is playing with is different. He could see the difference this year. We talked about for years on this show that if Pettis can get that confidence and play with a little more boldness or fearlessness, that he can be a very big part of this 49ers offense. And for what it's worth, it seems like it's coming. It seems like it's coming, man. So I like hearing that. And you know what's even better about that? Like, you're not just hearing the praise from the beat writers. You're not just hearing it from some random teammates. When your quarterback, when the quarterback is bigging you up at the press conference like that, that's going to do something. That's going to do something to the confidence. It's I like it. I will say I like it. I like it.
I do. The only thing that I did take away from that was he didn't stay on Dante Pettis very long. He went.
That's my point, Nick.
Right to the other receivers.
See,
Like,
that's my question.
He said, "Yeah, Dante's coming along, blah blah blah." But and then he's like, "But all of our guys are, coming along
every time
this and doing that." Like, he didn't stick on Dante at all. Like, he didn't.
The question was about Dante, and he switched it.
But he didn't say anybody else by name in that. It was like a generic.
But the question was to Pettis. So the question was about Pettis. So he didn't need to say Pettis. He just said, well, with Pettis, blah, 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 he's coming along, but then switched it. So he was answering the question referring to Pettis, obviously, because the question is about Pettis, and then redirected to every other receiver on the board.
We have heard people be asked about one player, answer it, and then mention another player or a couple of players by name, is what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
And that he did say, it's not just Pettis having a good camp. Other people have been stepping up and like, I get it, but I'm just saying. So I like that. I like that from him. I did not buy a trucker hat.
Yeah, that looked like a flex hat. That didn't look like a trucker hat. That looked like a stretchy in the back hat.
You see the back of it here. You see?
Yeah, it flexes to fit his big head.
And it still don't fit.
Well, you got hair on your head, so
somebody has to ask Jimmy about touching his face all the time during pressers.
It's a pretty boy thing. That's what they do. It's like, look at my jawline while I'm thinking to answer the question. It's a pretty boy thing. So it is what it is.
Look, we've said this here, Mike, before, right? And my biggest disappointment in Dante Pettis is his ability. He pulls back when he goes across the middle, and we've talked about this. When he knows contact's about to come, he pulls in some, right? He gets those dinosaur arms. And people have said, no, he doesn't, blah, blah, blah. He does, right? Because if he doesn't have that space to run, he's worried about taking that big hit. He's a lot smaller. He's bulked up a little bit this year. If you look at him, he's definitely bulked up a little bit, right? He has a whole different demeanor, presence to him. His hair, his facial hair, the way that he's built up. Look, if he can get that physicality part going, the kid has a lot of talent. He's just got to be able to utilize that talent. And if he can consistently, he'll definitely help this football team.
Yeah, and Big Tone can't wait for it. You see the comment here. I hope it comes for Pettis because your boy has a lot of receipt to hand out. Yeah, and serving some crow pies, man, because people have been dogging them, and it is what it is. And I won't even say they've been dogging them, unjustly, because we have been a little disappointed, a lot of disappointment.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Nobody owes Crow on that. Like, that's the way he played. That's the way he was playing.
Yeah,
Nobody owes Crow on that.
But I think it depends on the kind of receipts he's talking about, because people were saying get rid of him, trade him, and all that. Like, a player can't have a down season. You know what I'm saying? So there were people who had just flat out given up on him and wanted to move on from him. And I was like, hey, maybe we should hold off. But yeah, so there's a lot more to talk about. We heard from Robert Saleh. I do want to put this message up here before it gets too far down. Mike has been pretty quiet on his boy Witherspoon. I've been doing that on purpose. And I have maintained that I think that he will get that starting right corner position.
He's got to get some ones reps first.
I can't wait till we talk about Saleh's press conference, because
he has gotten reps with.
He got like 4 reps today at ones. Jason Barrett was the other guy the whole practice.
They're rotating because Manuel got reps too, so they're
right, that's what I'm saying. But other than they're rotating. But he was the last on the list to rotate.
That's not true. Not true. This is the second day getting reps with the ones, and
he didn't take any ones yesterday.
Okay, he did.
Okay,
they've acknowledged it in the pressers. Everyone has been talking about it. He's been getting reps with the ones. They all are. And Robert Saleh admitted it's a 3-man race over there.
That's dope. It's so cool. He said it's open. He said it.
It's open competition.
It's open competition. It's open season. I think that's what he said for that second spot. It must be cool to be Richard Sherman, right? Just to know that your shit is on lock. I know y'all don't. I know Mike don't like it. Nick never has a problem with it, but Mike, whenever I mention Richard Sherman's name, Mike is just like, man, he a bum, right?
I've never said that.
That's what your facial expression says.
I never said he was
Nick, Nick is on it.
Wait, you never said Richard Sherman's a bum?
When he was in Seattle.
Bro, when we signed him, you hated it.
Yeah,
then when he gave up a deep ball, you hated it. You said he's a bum. He has he can't cover anymore. The only reason people aren't throwing to him is because of his name. If they watch the tape, he's getting burnt. He's a bum. You've said that.
You've never ever heard me call him a bum. You never heard it. Everything else you said was accurate. I never called him a bum.
Oh,
everything else. Remember when Jameis Winston was just tearing him apart, and I was like, I don't know why other quarterbacks went away from it. Everything else Nick said was completely accurate. I have never called Richard Sherman a bum.
Later in the season, you came back and you were like, no, when we were talking about keeping Sherman, you're like, yeah, we have to keep him. Like, you changed your whole outlook on him.
It's okay to change.
But you were also saying that we're not giving up his position because of his name. Like, people should be competing against him. Like, you also said that. Like, there were a lot of dude.
I agree with that.
You were mad as shit at the Richard Sherman signing.
I was mad that we went so hard to get him coming off of an injury without knowing what he was going to be. And then his first year back, he still didn't look good. He was all right, but he got a lot of respect. And then when last season started and Jameis Winston went right after him, Richard Sherman had his worst game. And I was like, damn, we're in for a long year. Never called him a bum, but I also understand the type of player that Richard Sherman is. He's a cerebral player.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to get you with speed. So if your quarterback has all day back there, you can get some shots off on that side of the field, absolutely. But I never called Richard Sherman a bum because I know what that man's pedigree is.
Yeah,
I would have never called him that. I've called him a lot of stuff.
I think you're still not understanding what I'm saying.
I'm focusing on the word bum. I told you everything else you said was accurate.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I think you were at that stage. You're still not understanding what I'm saying when you were calling him a bum, that you just don't remember. Because you were literally calling him a bum. But it's okay. It's okay. Because
look, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead. It's okay.
Because then you would even, look, Ahkello Witherspoon is a hell of an athlete. But he needs to be consistent.
Hey, Rick, now get this comment off. Which one of y'all put this up there and left that comment up there?
I did because he paid for it. So I'm going to leave it up there till you read it. That's the policy. Such a
donations to my credit card. All right, somebody get that guy out of here. Go ahead, Nick. I'm sorry. You were talking about my guy Witherspoon. You said he's a hell of an athlete.
He is a hell of an athlete. He's got the athleticism to do things, right? I think he could probably get a little bit better at tackling. My personal opinion. But when he's around the ball, normally there's times where he gets his head around, he gets his hands up, he does what he's supposed to do, and then there's other times that he's in position and he doesn't do it. And it's just, to me, it's just there's not enough consistency there. If he can be a consistent guy, just like we were just talking about with Dante Pettis, if he can be that consistent guy, you're going to get a lot from him. But right now, I just think that I'm not saying that Emmanuel Mosley is more talented than him in general, but I think he's more consistent than Ahkello Witherspoon is. And I think his play is more consistent than Ahkello. I look back, everybody goes back to Ahkello's days for the first 3 weeks, right? What was the difference on the field the first 3 weeks before his injury, before he came back in whatever week it was, 6 or 7, whatever week he came back and then came in and then he got benched?
He was simply just flying to the ball, right? So you saw him, a wide receiver run a route, do a comeback, and before the wide receiver could get the ball, he was making a play on the ball, knocking it out the wide receiver's hand.
Right. Now, but what was different on the defensive side of the ball those first 3 weeks?
The pass rush?
The pass rush. The pass rush was dominant as shit. They had no time to get rid of footballs. So DBs didn't have to think, and they were quick and getting the quarterbacks were on the ball, and the players could get out, and they weren't covering as long. When our pass rush went down and Ahkello Witherspoon had to cover longer than the 2 seconds, he was not consistent at all.
So he's a benefactor of a great pass rush.
Correct.
Which is some DBs are, though, right? I mean,
no, you're absolutely right. It both works hand in hand, but you still need to have some type of consistency. Okay. He was on and off the field, getting benched, bringing back in, getting benched, bringing back in. Now it's hard for a guy to get consistency when you're getting that way, right? I'll admit that. If you're going to take me off the field, how am I going to get better, right? I can't continue to play. And then I lose my snaps at practice, so I'm not getting that burn either. So you can't get that consistency back. And I'm sure it messes with your head, like as a player, right? So I'm not blaming it all on – I'm not saying Ahkello's a horrible talent because he's not. I think he has the talent in him to play the position of corner. He's done it his entire life, right? But I just need to see that consistency at him. If we get that consistent Ahkello, he's still going to make this team better.
I just want to put out the thing that the disclaimer that, look, they're still young. And this is another year in the system. This is another year these young players can go out there and prove themselves. The pass rush is only going to be better. I'm sure they've gotten better at certain skills and skill sets. This is what they work on in the offseason for. I think Ahkello's going to be fine. I like the fact that there's a battle at this second position because you got a veteran that can start, and then you got 2 guys who proved themselves to be starters in the NFL, and Ahkello and Emmanuel Mosley. So this is going to be really cool to see who actually goes out there and start. And the good thing is you're going to have some depth at linebacker at cornerback, because we all know players get injured at some point in time. So this is going to be really cool. Or they may be able to just rotate him in depth or whatnot, or be able to spell Richard Sherman. We also got some young guys who were undrafted and some guys that were drafted that are coming up as well. So it's not just those 3 guys. It could be a guy like Tim Harris. It could be a guy like there's other players on this 49ers roster. The San Francisco 49ers can go out there and sign a guy in free agency, and he automatically might be the starting quarterback opposite Richard Sherman. Who knows? But I do like what's going on. I do like when we talk about Saleh. Matter of fact, let's get right into Saleh, because he talked about the whole defense. Like, right? They asked him every question in the world about the defense. Go ahead, kick that one off, and I'll close that one up.
All right. Well, what stood out to me from Saleh, there was a lot that he said, but he did something that I thought was pretty special. And then later on, we heard from the same guy. He talked about how Kerry Hyder is loved by Chris Kocurek. And then he said, Kocurek feels about Hyder the way I have a man crush on Ronnie Blair. Both of these guys in our eyes, so respectively, he says, Saleh says that Blair can move all over the line, right? And a lot of players become the jack of all trades but master of none, but not these guys. We believe that these guys can move anywhere and be effective in those positions. That gave me chills, because I'd be honest with you, I don't know much about Kerry Hyder. I have his history pulled up. We can talk about who he is and the teams he's been on and things like that. But the truth of the matter is I didn't know much about him. I remember looking him up when we signed him and all, but it wasn't anything like special. I think he had a career high 8 sacks in one season. He's 6'2.5", and he's got long arms, 33.5-inch arms, 9 3/4 hands. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but you're a defensive lineman. You don't need to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that he's got that versatility in there, that our defensive line coach feels he can get more out of him at any position along the line, that's a very good sign, especially when you get a guy like Ronald Blair, who was our versatility, our switchblade. This is another term that Saleh used to describe these two when Ronald Blair is injured. So it's important to have a guy like that here who can fill in the meantime for a guy like Ronald Blair. Again, it's one thing to just be out there and be on the field. It's another thing to be out there and be effective when you're all over the defensive line. So that really stood out to me. It's going to make me, this is what I'm saying. This really makes me want to watch preseason football. I want to see, like, listening to how Saleh spoke about how Kocurek feels about Hyder makes me want to see Hyder in our system. I don't want to go back and watch Dallas Cowboy film. I don't want to go back and watch Detroit Lions film. I want to see him here with Saleh and Kocurek unleashing him. Kocurek has this feeling about this guy that there's so much untapped potential there. And so, and Hyder said he's been, talking and consulting with me my entire career. Even
he said that Kocurek said that, or he said that Kocurek was the one who said you'd be a really good defensive end.
Right.
Like, let's move you out here. Like, open your horizons a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hearing Saleh say that was really exciting. Hearing Saleh say that he had a man crush on Ronald Blair just lets me know how that I'm not the only one. You remember how I was like pounding the table? Ronald Blair is really good. He needs more snaps. And people were like, yeah, you got to chill. He's a rotational guy for a reason. And I'm like, he's a rotational guy because he's really, really effective. He's the first reserve at every position. Like, that's how good he was. But, hearing Robert Saleh acknowledge that is pretty cool. But
well, he's been acknowledging that for like the last 3 years about Ronald Blair.
Correct.
Never quite like that. Never quite like that. He's always given Blair his flowers, but I've never heard him gush about him like that. But he said something that was really, really confusing to me. He said that he's excited to get him back early about Ronald Blair.
Well, because you can get him back at 6 weeks.
That's not early, is it? So that's why I'm wondering if
it's a quarter of the way through the season. It's still early.
Yeah, it's before the halfway mark. And you have to look. We lost Ronald Blair. We had Ronald Blair at the beginning of the season last year, and then we ended up losing him toward the last third of the season. If we can get a healthy Ronald Blair back, after week 7, get that bye week 8 or week 9, whatever our bye week is, and then have him be healthy toward the end of the year. Now he's smoking, because you forgot to mention the most important part about Ronald Blair that Robert Saleh praised. He said, if you can have 11 Ronald Blairs on the defensive line, you are mother freaking winning. That's what he said. There's no way you're losing. 11 Ronald Blairs. That's how effective that kid is. And so having him, yes, that's the type of production you're going to get from that particular kid. So my point to Ronald Blair is he's that valuable. How are we going to pay this cat next year?
And let me tell you, there's nobody out there hoping that he doesn't get extended by the Niners more than Robert Saleh. When Robert Saleh gets that head coaching job, hey, Ronnie.
Oh, sugar snaps.
Yeah,
he's gone. And he's going to get a contract.
Phrase I was talking about that Ronald Blair. Well, that Ronald Blair never got openly from Saleh before. He never said he wanted 11 Ronald Blairs on the defense. Like that was incredible to hear him say that. Yeah. To me.
That means Ronald Blair has a starting defensive end job wherever Robert Saleh becomes a head coach. That's what that means. That's exactly what that means. He also talked about versatility at the safety spot. He talked about Tavarius Moore, and they asked him, do they think that Ronald Blair would show more dime packages to get Tavarius Moore in there? And he was talking about how versatile asset he is to this group. He says he has tremendous speed and he's very smart, and they want to get him in the game more. That doesn't mean he's just going to be Jimmy Ward's backup either. So we might see some different packages on the field early, especially if they come out in wide receiver sets, right? That's when you want to bring your dime packages out there or whatnot. But then he also praised in having a great front four. He said having a great front four just opens up the game. He said, listen, they asked him, like, why do you think Kyle Shanahan and those guys, they always pick a defensive, lineman for you in the draft or whatnot. He was like, well, listen, Kyle Shanahan and all his experience as an offensive coordinator says that the one position that's giving him the most problems is the defensive line. So let's make sure the defensive line is great. And then he said that our general manager, John Lynch, he said Lynch plays safety. And he said that at the safety position, he said that it made the DBs play so much better when they have a pass rush up front. Because he mentioned something about making the pizza back there, having plenty.
Yeah, he said that Lynch acknowledges all the time that it's easier to cover for 3 seconds versus
it is 5 seconds.
Stay back there and make a whole pizza.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. So the defensive line is super important. We talk about that all the time on the show, winning the game in the trenches. And again, I'm gonna say the 49ers couldn't retain that lead in the Super Bowl because they just got tired in the trenches on both sides of the ball. If Jimmy G had more time, he probably could have had a better pass to complete. Chris Jones doesn't block that down. If the defense,
I don't know. If the refs weren't willing to call holding,
I don't want to blame the refs. We taking the refs.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Is we could be as good of pass rushers as we wanted to be, but if the refs weren't willing to call holding,
okay,
then the pass rush gets nullified because the pass rush on the biggest play of the game,
we got there. They got
the pass rush was there.
They got there. I understand, but it was a call that wasn't made. And I think if we had more depth, I think if we just had a rotation piece and had some fresh speed coming at them, it might have made the play better. We don't know. It's a what if. So that's pretty much what I got from Robert Saleh. He definitely talked a lot. He talked the most, actually.
He also insinuated that there's going to be some changes and modifications to this defense, which was really exciting. I think we see a lot more turnovers this year. I don't know. I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead, Nick.
I think there's going to be a lot more man this year too. To be honest with you, I think there's going to be a lot more man. I think you're going to see Jimmy Ward down low, down close. You may see, like they were doing last year, where Tart and Ward would rotate, up and down, back side, front side. But no, I definitely think look. Richard Sherman.
We haven't heard from Sherman yet, guys. I just realized that.
Yeah, we haven't heard from Sherman. He didn't even practice. He didn't even take any reps. I don't even think he took any reps today.
Veteran moves.
Yeah. So, but no. Yeah, I mean, if we're playing more man, but I guess press is Richard Sherman's thing, right? Sherman can play press a lot better than man. So I don't know. I think Odin.
Well, wait, you can play both.
Yeah,
isn't press just out of the gate and then man versus zone?
Right.
So you can press on a man play, you can press on a zone play.
Right. But remember, I think we're gonna play closer up this year than we were last year. Remember last year we would play. I know it's a zone scheme, right? But we would play 6 or 7 yards back when the first down was only 5 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Like we gave them that space, right? And it's to let them get out just a little bit. And it's just like, what the heck? Like sometimes it would drive me nuts when they do that. But, I don't know. I think Odin's going to switch it up a lot this year. Like you're referencing to what Saleh said today. I think there's going to be all different types of things that we do.
All right. So I also have a Kyle Shanahan presser here. I want to see when this actually happened because it
happened yesterday because he had on the same outfit and I forgot to take notes.
Okay.
He didn't change his clothes, so we could talk about him not changing his clothes. Bounce and go.
Or they just gave him more of the same. Like we can't just.
He had on the same hat, the same blue thingy with Jiggy with COVID all wrapped up into it. Yep. And then Kyle.
Yeah. So, all right. So I did take a couple of notes from that one. Then we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. This was a fast hour, man. God, to talk about a power hour. So he said This was really interesting to me. He was talking about the wide receivers and the depth and all that stuff, and looking at the players on the team and all. And he was talking about Kendrick Bourne. All right, and one of my biggest takeaways, he said, Bourne was one of, if not the best wide receiver they had last year. I've never heard Kyle Shanahan say that before.
Wait, I seen that. I heard. I watched it. I just didn't take notes. You're absolutely right.
I was like, wait, one of the best, if not the best wide receiver you had in the building last year. And he said it was funny to see him in the veteran role now because he's one of the vets on the team.
Yes,
but
I saw this. Yep.
He insinuated how the reason it's funny to see and think of Kendrick Bourne as one of the veterans is because of how, like, he didn't say these words, but he's talking about how goofy he is, like the energy he plays with. You know, he's a veteran as far as this is what you need to do. This is, you know, he's good in the book. He's good with the route running and the technical side, but the energy and the juice and enthusiasm he brings everywhere else isn't like how most veterans carry themselves. So I thought that was very, very interesting to see. Giving my man KB some flowers, and I'm not manscaping Mark Espinoza. All right, the chest hair is staying.
He almost insinuated that KB would be one of those a starting wide receiver. I remember watching this presser. He definitely made, because he said that they asked him about stretching the field, and they said that he can stretch the field because he can run. Okay, I remember now. They asked about do they see
best deep threat?
No. It was that, but they asked him, like, do they see Jerick McKinnon lining up on the outfield? And he was like, maybe on a go route or something, like a halfback out from the backfield, wheel route. Excuse me,
wheel routes, yeah.
Maybe on a wheel route. But he was like, but Kendrick Bourne, like, you might want to put a guy in there like that to go on that route because he has the best hands as a wide receiver, opposed to putting a little guy out there who might not have the best hands. But speed might not be what you need. You need a guy that can get down. He said Kendrick Bourne is faster than what you think. He was bigging up Kendrick Bourne a lot. And the question wasn't about Bourne. It was about the jet. That's what it was.
Well, no, the question was, who is your best deep threat right now, or do you not view it that way? And could it be someone like a Jerick McKinnon instead?
There it goes.
The answer was, it depends on the play and all that. We don't necessarily have the best guy. You know, he was like, it depends on what it is. Like if it's a Hail Mary situation, then sometimes it's going to be just the guy with the fastest 40. And then he went down the list of, that would have been Travis Benjamin, but
yes, sir. I remember
anymore. He named all these fast guys. He said, but sometimes your best deep threat is the guy who's going to get down the field and has the best hands. And then that's when he threw Kendrick Bourne in there, right? And he was talking about Jet. He said Jet could do it if it was a wheel route and we're sending everybody out there, because if he has a favorable matchup against a linebacker and a safety, then it could be him also. He was like, but sometimes you want a guy that's going to get out there. He might not get down there the fastest, but that he's going to win the jump ball, or, the guy with the good hands. And that's when you're going to have a guy out there like Kendrick Bourne. I think he mentioned Jennings also in that, where they're not the fastest guys, but they're going to be the physical guys at the point of attack and go after the ball and come down with it. So it was a really, really good, that presser, man. I have one more big takeaway from that one, but I'll shut up and let you guys reflect on it some more also.
I didn't take any notes on it because I think at the time I was watching Rome. He wouldn't let me type, but I was watching the presser, so I remember. So if you guys mention something, I'll be like, "That's right, he said that," and then I can think of.
I mean, to me, that whole situation that you were just talking about is nothing new. I mean, Kyle Shanahan has praised Kendrick Bourne's hands before. He said that Kendrick Bourne is one of the better pass catchers with his hands than any other person on this team. So that was nothing new for me. So I didn't take anything new from that. That was just more of a conversation. He says, about people going downfield, for a deep ball. And he's like, oh yeah. And that's called a Hail Mary. Like that's how he said it. And then, it's just, cause, and I think sometimes a lot of this is just because of stupid questions from our media. Like it really is. Like, I don't really mean to be like, asinine about it, but there are some stupid questions. Like they piggyback and ask the same question to every single player.
What would you ask Kyle Shanahan, Nick?
Bro, I'm just saying, you go out there and you ask, like, you got a guy coaching 7, 8, 10 new receivers, and you're 2 days in with pads, and you're like, who's your best deep threat and who's your best this? Like, dude, do you think he's gonna tell you that? Like literally, do you think he's going to tell you that? Like, okay, talk about the injuries, ask about the injuries. You know, there are a lot more better questions. Don't ask the same question to every single person that comes on. Like you ask the same question. Well, today we were talking to Nick Bosa, and Nick Bosa said this about such and such. How do you feel about that? And then the next time, well, we talked to Nick Bosa and Javon Kinlaw, and they said this, and then how do you feel about that?
They just keep asking it. They find another way to ask the same question.
Yeah,
right?
the same exact question. It's just in different words.
Yeah, trust me.
Like,
I know.
so, you know, sometimes our pressers are just like, sometimes I zone out of them a lot of times because it's like the same question. It's over and over again. Like, look, he's not going to tell you what they're doing. You know, people are like asking Robert Saleh, well, what are you going to run this year? You know, they're asking Jimmy Ward, well, what are you going to run this year? Well, I'm going to do what the coaches tell me, but I guess you'll have to check in week 1. Like, what do you want them to say?
But what can you ask them though? I'm serious. Like,
well, I mean, they need to figure it out. They need to get together as a pool of beat writers and say, here's some questions we should ask, and these are some questions that maybe that they're tired of asking. Like, you know what I mean?
Like they know. Look, what do we do when we have a guest come on? We prepare. We dig up things. We ask questions. We ask questions about everything, right? They know what media availability is before we know.
Dude, wait. Did you guys? I don't know if you guys watched it live. Did you guys see the very first question to Kerry Hyder? You're never
He's like, oh, you're Kerry?
Yes. Are you Kerry?
Matt Mayoko. Are you Kerry? Now I love Matt Mayoko. Greatest reporter, has given me a lot of like, you know, pushes to do what like we're doing right now. But he's like, are you Kerry? And he's like, yeah, I'm Kerry. Like, but you know, I'm just saying, like, look, a lot of people hate Grant Cohn, but he asks questions that nobody else will ask.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
You know, dig in. But I want to talk about this Javon Kinlaw one before we get out of here.
Wait,
let's do it, man.
Before we do, let me finish my last thing on Kyle Shanahan. Are you Kerry? That was bro. I was like, no way. Like, no way. I did not just hear that question at a press. I have a quote here. He was so they asked Kyle Shanahan about deep shots and stuff like that, and he said this really stood out. He said, we're not going to avoid any part of the field. We will attack whatever part of the field they give us. Right. This is why that was interesting. Last year, a lot of teams just flat out dared Jimmy Garoppolo to throw it deep.
Yes, sir.
They just flat out dared him to do it. And, you know, people will say, oh, well, he had the highest completion percentage, but he didn't throw deep a lot because
the numbers were injected basically because of all the yards after catch.
Right. But on deep passes, Jimmy Garoppolo opted out and took other shorter, safer passes, right? He wouldn't do it. Now, people will say, oh, he had like a 80% completion percentage on deep shots down the field. But if you're only throwing 10 passes and 8 of them are caught, yeah, that's 80%. But when someone else, you know, has 17 completions down the field because they attempted 30, so you can't, you get what I'm saying? This is why it's different. Last year, I distinctly remember Kyle Shanahan saying, we usually go into a game with a game plan. We attack the weaknesses of the defense, and until they adjust and stop us, we're going to continue to do it. That's going to result in games where we run the ball 40 times. It's going to result in games where we take the check down because they can't stop it. You get what I'm saying? He never said what he just said here, which was we are not going to avoid any part of the field. We will attack whatever part of the field they give us. That's different. That's some year 2 stuff that we're going to see here. And when I say year 2, I'm talking Jimmy's second
year in the system, correct?
Right, because that's not before they had a game plan, like he said. All right, and this is what we think their weaknesses that we can take advantage of, and we're going to do that until they stop it.
They're going to force themselves. They're going to force teams to make adjustments and then come out and make adjustments to the team's adjustments. It's going to be it's going to be amazing to watch.
Now he's saying, all right, we'll come out. We know what your weaknesses are, but if you're going to give it to us, you're going to dare us to do it. Watch this. Dare accept it. Don't double dog, triple dare me to do it and think I won't do it. Like he said it.
I think if he goes deep this year, I think it's going to be like right off the bat to make you stay honest the rest of the game, or it's going to be where they just dink and dunk you make you pull in, and then beat you over the top once. You know, one other thing I got to get to a question with Kyle. And Wayne, you touched on it earlier. You said, you know, it was with Jimmy Garoppolo. He asked Jimmy Garoppolo. The question to Jimmy Garoppolo was, well, you know, have you taken notice that about the quarterbacks in Kyle Shanahan's system 2 years later, after 2 years?
Yep.
Do you watch film on those two guys?
Who was
And
the
do you
other
think
guy?
that
man?
this is going to be a better year for you because of that?
He said he did though.
No, he said Coach has always made me watch film on them since
Right.
like the beginning.
Right. Not just now. No, I
Right.
get what you're saying.
But the stupid part of the question is, do you think you're going to be better because it's year 2?
Right.
It's Cousins and Matt Ryan, right?
I don't remember them saying Cousins. I remember them saying Matt Ryan. Who was the other guy?
Cousins with Matt Ryan. No, it wasn't Cousins. It was
Is it Hoyer?
No.
the Houston
Shaw, Matt Shaw. It was
Matt Shaw.
Yeah.
Matt Shaw.
Thank you, the
Hey, Wayne.
49ers, the Niners way.
Shelton put this question up here to you, and then he felt bad for me and Nick, so he threw our names at the end of it. But Wayne, is this Super Bowl or bust for us?
Okay, because I didn't understand how to read it. Yo, Mike, you are so smart, yo. I was trying to figure out for us. All right, Shelton, Super Bowl or bust? I wouldn't say it's a bust because it's still early in the regime, but I think it's definitely a Super Bowl system, and they're continuing to build. Look, I remember they're trying to build a dynasty here, guys, and sometimes you're just gonna lose some battles. But once you get rolling and you get that right formula, remember it's the formula that you're trying to build to where you just got to keep changing certain, agents and chemicals to keep the formula potent. Once that formula is solidified, I don't think the 49ers are going to lose in a long time. So it's not Super Bowl or bust for me, but they better win the Super Bowl this year because we need it. We need it.
Do you agree, Nick? He said it's not Super Bowl or bust.
I do believe it's Super Bowl or bust. And the reason that I believe it's Super Bowl or bust is because we have 26 free agents coming up, and who knows where the cap space is going to be. So it is Super Bowl or bust right now for me.
Okay.
I hate to say it, but I agree with Nick. And for those exact reasons, that cap space scares me. And I understand that the negative $3 million won't be that way once we cut down to 55. I get it, right? But it's not a lot. And with the uncertainty of the cap, whew.
And I mean, there's a lot. Look, we know this whole secondary pretty much. Ronald Blair, a lot of our depth pieces are leaving next year. Trent Taylor's a free agent. All of our secondary, but Jimmy Ward.
Both of our backup quarterbacks.
Both the backup quarterbacks, Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard.
Then they go get your guy Brock Rutter out the gutter, and he'll be a backup quarterback.
If he's not signed somewhere else.
He ain't getting signed. Ain't nobody signing him.
Why you gotta talk?
Well, that's not my guy anyway. But
man, you talking to me? I know where he's going.
But no, I really do think that. Look, you just spent all this money on George Kittle, which is the right way to do it. Go read that article too. There's an article out about that whole situation with the agent Kittle, and I forget who wrote it. It was
I just don't think it's a bust. I don't know why I don't think it's. I hate even saying that, but I get your concept. I totally do. But I hate saying Super Bowl or bust. That's a tough thing to put on your disclaimer because if you don't make it to the Super Bowl,
well, there's only one goal every season,
right? So
Ed York has made it clear. I don't care about these championship banners. The people laughed at him when he said that, right? They thought, "Oh, what an idiot!" I don't care. Okay. What did he say after that game? What game? Oh, was it the Christmas game? The final game of the season in 2017? It was the New Orleans game. I want a banner for my brother. I want a Super Bowl. He's got one goal in mind.
Well, and that's what every team does. They all say it's a Super Bowl or bust. If they don't look, you can make it to the Super Bowl, but it doesn't count if you don't win it. Every team out there, player is saying, look, if you don't come home with the ultimate goal of the trophy, the season was a waste. You could go 16-0 in the regular season, but if you don't win a Super Bowl, it doesn't mean shit. So to me, if you don't win a Super Bowl, it's a bust. But I mean, I get where you're saying too, Wayne. It's just a matter of things. So Sean Shepard says, and is right. I hate when they ask stuff like, when you have an open line to the quarterback, what's going on in your head? Tell us your process when you run in the open field.
That's what they're asking, man. They're asking not intriguing questions. The questions are so bad that sometimes the players have to say, "What did you say?" Like they,
No,
like,
they forget what the question
what
was.
was the other question? Like they asked Jimmy G about his Jordans and was he gonna wear 10s or like, and he's just like, yeah, like that was actually the second part of the question. So he made sure he answered that part, but then he forgot what the first part of the question was. And I can't even remember what the first part of the question was. So yeah, it is real. They'll be better. I think they'll be better once they start to seeing some games, and the questions better get better because it's blah.
Yo, I'll tell you what though, this year with no fans in the stadium is going to be fun watching our defense to where they can hear calls. A lot of, like we said earlier, less offensive offsides, less jumping offsides plays, things like that. You're gonna hear the energy on the field with these guys with no crowd, and they're gonna play. I mean, it's who knows if they're gonna be energized, right? Like they are normally with fans, but they don't have to worry about counts and everything else like that. The defense can just hear the ball, watch the ball, and go. Same with the offense, though. It works both ways.
I agree. All right, let's get to this Kinlaw joint, and
let's get to the Kinlaw joint. I know you couldn't wait to get there. Break it down for us, man.
Up out of here.
Yo, 10 pound, 8 ounces, baby. He wasn't the biggest baby in there.
Because George Kittle was 10 pounds, 10 ounces.
Yep. No. Just
why do y'all know how much? I mean, I know that he's.
It was
they asked the question.
I know that today, but why did y'all rebuttal with that? He wasn't the heaviest baby on the team. Why do y'all know the weights of all the babies on the team?
Because they came out and said that. They wrote something about it.
Oh,
Wait, okay.
I didn't read that.
That's why our beat writers wrote something about it. Like,
she sure did. She did.
Because the question was to him.
That was the question.
Are you always used to being the bigger person since childhood playing football? And he says, yeah, but then I come here and I'm like, oh, I'm like the same size as everybody. And everybody has the same type of power. And everybody has the same type of speed. And everybody, where he was saying that the NFL is totally different. And he just, I don't know if it was just like his jitters or what, but this dude made me nervous.
I think he was trying not to say too much. I think he was very open and very honest from the very beginning. I love this presser, bro.
His presser was so super genuine, yo.
Yeah,
like it was authentic. 100%.
They asked him out the gate, "How was your first week of practice?" And he paused. I would be lying if I said it was good.
Right.
But I'm getting better every day. Like, bro, listening to him talk with such sincerity.
Yep.
And being mindful of saying too much. This kid's gonna be special. Listen, he said, "I'm strong. I already know I'm strong. I got to get better technically, hand placement, leverage." When he was talking about how Tomlinson was just handling him because he gets lower.
Worked, he said,
he said he worked me.
He said he put his chest up under my shoulder pads. That's what he said.
He put me on the game. He's talking about how he's I've always been strong, but everybody here is strong. So it's about more than that for me. I'm sorry. I don't want to go ahead, Nick. I know you had some stuff that you want to go through here.
No, those are exact things that I was going to talk about. Like how he said that he got worked by Laken Tomlinson. Underrated offensive lineman. I always say that. Because I love Laken Tomlinson. How he said, look, he came out here and he worked me. Like he got his head up underneath my sternum and was just like working. And he's
When was the last time you heard an offensive lineman mention their sternum? It also told me that he's more intelligent than what people give him credit for. The guy, he's here. He's here, bro.
He is. And that's one of the things but look, it made me a little nervous because when you watch him in college, like he's not a technical hand guy, right?
He's a physical, strong dude.
He manhandled people because of size.
That's it.
Right? So that worries me coming here because Laken Tomlinson's not one of the bigger dudes on this team either. Right. So now he's getting better. Obviously, he's going to get better. It's his first time in pads, in the NFL. I'm not going to hold that against him, but that does worry me a little bit. Like you should be doing work out there, like against, a smaller offensive lineman. But when I think that D Ford, he said, D Ford is in my ear. He doesn't have to be like that. He could be like, oh, I'm a rook. I don't need to tell you and get you on the game, blah, blah, blah. But D Ford is working with him. He didn't say anything about Nick Bosa working with him. He just said Nick Bosa is just basically a freak animal, right? Watching him. But those things made me a little nervous about, where he's like, I need to learn the technicality part. I need to learn this part. And, he's like, I can't just bull rush and just overpower people here. And that was a lot of his game in college. So how much of a project? Now we talk, Mike, remember when we went back to, it was the draft with Nick Bosa or what's the dude's name? The outside linebacker.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. And we said Josh Allen may have a higher ceiling because he has more potential as in speed and things like that, but he was a project, right? That's what worries me. Is Javon Kinlaw going to be a project for his first year and going to be a rotational player his first year because he doesn't get that hand technicality and the things down because there's no training camp, no preseason games. It's just right into week one.
I don't think you should factor in that every offensive lineman is going to get up into his sternum. And I'm sure he's learning, as in practices, he's playing against one of the best offensive lines in football, right? He's not going to always be playing against those type of guys. And there's going to be times where he can use his power to get through. He does have to learn hand technique, Nick, but that's something he was working on. You saw him working out with, the guy Cam doing the knives drill and all that type of stuff or whatever, because he's working on his hand technique. That's the one thing he said he admired by Nick Bosa. He's watching Nick work, because Bosa did mention you got to get your technique together, because I think that was the last thing he talked about in the presser when the question was asked. It was like, you were working with Cam on your hand movements. I see you working on your hands, but he was like, look, right now, I got my power rushes down, and I'm really just trying to maul people. And I think he's going to be able to maul people. Let this guy do what he's strong at. All right. If we sit here worried about what he's not good at, let that be something that
that's the thing, Wayne. I'm not worried that he won't get better. I'm worried that because of the way that this 2020 season is right now, with the long training camp, the OTAs, the mini camps, the training camps, the preseason games, to get that work in, you're going 5 weeks and then you're in a game.
Right. But all right. So here's what I think the difference is, right? This guy is going to be in tight quarters. I don't think they're going to ever play him at edge unless it's some kind of weird formation and stunt, like some kind of situation like that. He's going to be in tight quarters where the bull rush is going to be his predominant move. He's going to use that power. So now he has to learn that you can't just go upright and push somebody now. You have to get low and get leverage. That's why he's talking about that so much. Get your hands on the pads the right way and still perfect the power. He said as much. Like, that's all I'm focusing on right now.
Right.
Am I adding other moves to my repertoire? I'm focusing on just the power, just the bull rush type of thing, right? And he's right, because of what they're going to ask him to do, and because of what you're saying, Nick. There's no preseason where I can go in here and try this move out on somebody and all that stuff. So let me perfect the one thing that I know right now. Let me do that and do it well. And then we can start adding more stuff. See, with Nick Bosa and Josh Allen, the reason why you want to know if they can do more things is because they're coming off the edge. Sometimes you're going to need speed. Sometimes you're going to need power. Sometimes you need a combination of both. Sometimes you're going to have a stutter step. You don't have to do all that if you're on the inside of the line. You get what I'm saying?
I know, but I know guys that are inside that do that. And we can use DJ Jones as one of them. DJ Jones has a hell of a swim move. He has good hand technique, and he has a bull rush. So, like, interior, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, how, like, it, with him not being able to get those things down, how much does that, and I'm not saying that it bothers him at all. I'm asking a question, like a legit question. How much does that bother him going into the season week one, as in disrupt him from being the type of player that he has the capability of being week one?
I think that if it weren't for the practices, if it weren't for him being – so another thing that I took away from this, which is going to answer your question, was how he picks the brain of everybody on the defensive line and the offensive line. How is it that I couldn't move you as strong as I am? Well, I'm getting lower than you. I'm getting my hands here, and I'm moving you. You got to learn to do this. And he talked about Tomlinson, putting him under his wing and telling him, you got to do this better. You got to do that better. And he said He didn't say this about Nick Bosa. He didn't say it about D Ford, even though he had some high praise for D Ford also, right? But he said about Tomlinson, he is making me significantly better.
Right.
About Tomlinson, the guy on the opposite side of the field. And that's what you want to know. Like, it's one thing for these guys to come in here and be told things, but we heard people saying he's a sponge. He's taking it all in. And listening to him at that presser, I believe it. We've heard him say it about other people before. This guy is putting it on Front Street. He's going to be all right. I'm not saying that he's going to be great.
Well, I mean, his main job right there inside is just to clog up the hole in the run and overpower somebody to where they have to slide another body over to you, which helps the outside pass rush.
Him and Tomlinson aren't that far off in size. They're not that far. 6'3", 320 and 6'5", 319. They're not that far off in size at all.
Yeah, but there's difference in size, meaning muscle and offensive lineman. Laken Tomlinson's not fucking.
But his technique, Nick.
Right.
It's it's the technique he's using. You know how you fight a smaller. Well, he's not smaller, but you know how you fight a smaller person, and that smaller person could whip a bigger person's tail. That's because they just got the technique, dog.
I'd be honest with you. I would be worried if it was the other way around. If he said I went in there and was handling Tomlinson, I'm like, yo, you let
it's time Tomlinson to get. It's time to check him.
Yeah, so I would be concerned if it was the other way around.
That's not true because I mean we said that with Nick Bosa about Joe Staley. Nick Bosa was working the shit out of Joe Staley in camp.
I don't think it started that way. I could be wrong. I don't remember how it.
Well, you got to remember, Nick Bosa started like 1 or 2 practices and had really good practices, then got hurt, a high ankle sprain, and then practices all year. He was just working Joe Staley, and then obviously Joe Staley, got better at what he was doing with Nick Bosa because it takes time.
And Joe Staley is older. He was an older guy, and he was more of a.
Give me young Joe Staley against young Nick Bosa, and let's talk about that, yo.
Yeah. Well, there's
like Thomason's the young spring chicken either, so I get it. But also coming off the edge, you have more moves. You can go left, you can go right, you can go straight through, you can go underneath. You can't do all of that at that one. You get what I'm saying? You don't have as much wiggle room on the edge. I mean, on the inside as you do on the edge. And so that's why I think it's different for tackle. That's why tackles are so valuable. But there was a good question up here, and it was a paid contribution. You have one question to ask Kinlaw. Where does it go? And this is good because I want to know what you're going to say. You got one question to ask Kinlaw.
And those guys have they have time. They know who they're going to get. They have time to prepare. So
she had that question up there for like 5 minutes. If y'all don't answer that woman's question.
I'm talking about they have time to prepare for the pressers. They know who they're going to have the next day.
You saw that comment up there for 5 minutes. Y'all have better have.
I don't think he understands. Chrissy, she asked, "What's the question you would have for Kinlaw?"
You have one question for Kinlaw. What is it? Go. Y'all want me to go first?
Go ahead, Mike.
So
you want to go.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Kinlaw was a guy that had the post, "Mama, I made it." Right?
Yep.
So my question would be, what is the one purchase or one way you're most looking forward to helping your family?
Okay.
Now that you made it to the NFL, what's the one way you're most looking forward to helping your family? Because let me shut up. Now I want to know what you guys' questions were.
Your dad's a diehard 49ers fan. What does this mean to him for you making it to the NFL, not only to the 49ers as well?
They didn't ask him that already? That wasn't part of the rookie thing? We saw your dad in the video. I swear somebody like Keanu Martin said that to him. We saw your dad falling off the chair. That was his dad that did that, right? Wasn't that him?
Yeah, it was his dad falling off. Yeah. They just said that your dad's a 49ers fan. Like, was he happy that you came here? Like, I'm just like, I don't know.
Isn't that what you just said?
No, I said, what does it mean? What does it mean to your dad? Like, for you, one, to make your goal and then be able to come and play for a team that your dad loves.
It's like he made his dad's dream come true as well.
Like you made both dreams come true at the same time. Like, how does that feel? Like, what is that atmosphere around your family from that type of thing? And that's just quick off the head. And I don't have.
All right. My quick off the head thing would be over the years, rookies go through a little series of processing and being rookies in the locker room. Has anyone made you do anything out of the extraordinary?
Hazing. I like
Hey,
that.
I didn't want to say the word hazing, but yeah.
No, because they're not allowed to. Yeah, so I get what you're saying. What's the weirdest thing that a veteran has asked you to do as a rookie? Bobby T, was it your choice to wear 99? The team to give that to you. I like that, man. I like that.
That's
I
a
like
good
that.
question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. His dad asked, "Are you going to Dallas?" in the video when he got drafted. That was his dad asking. Huh? All right. I don't know, but yeah. So that would be it, man.
I would also ask him like, which quarterback is he looking forward to most exciting to sack? Like, you're getting playtime. Who's a childhood? You know, what is a childhood dream of which quarterback would you love to sack?
And then my question, the spinoff of Nick's question would be, what would be your first sack celebration? What would you do?
We broke the George Kittle one here.
What would be your first sack celebration? We know what Eric Armstead does with the tummy. DeForest Buckner had the shovel. What would be the Kinlaw? It'd be dope if he pull out like a legal book.
And don't forget my man Ronald Blair coming through the door on him. Boom! Kicking it. I love Ronald Blair's sack celebration, man. And when Blair went down, the other players doing it for him. Oh my God!
It'd be dope if Kinlaw like created like a book, opened up blew off the book, open and then just shut it closed like real quick. It'd be something cool like the law book, a law book.
Oh yeah, the Kinlaw law book.
Law book. Okay.
That shit went over your heads. I got you though, but it's cool. Nick, Nick's been with me all episode. Mike, you got to get your stuff up, yo. Usually we be here.
Tag up on me. It's cool. I'm coming for y'all. Don't worry.
Yo, but I do like what he said about Chris Kocurek. He said that man. What did he say? That man's insane.
Oh, he said he's insane, yo.
He's like, that man's insane. If you don't come to practice with some energy, you better best you gonna get some.
You're gonna get some. He said he was insane, and I did not expect to hear him say insane about a coach. That's why I said that his joint was super authentic, yo, with the gold fronts in his mouth. Looks like he spent some money. But yo, that was the
first spent money on, Mike.
Huh?
That his piece
but
was
that ain't for the He probably had those already because there wasn't no ice in them.
Yeah, those were just regular gold, man. My man does gold molds, man. I hit my man up, man. He does them joints.
Yeah, those weren't.
But no, he did say that. He said, he say insane, or he said, I don't remember what he said. Madman, insane.
Let me see if I got it written down.
He calling him nuts, like he's a psycho. Like he was.
Bro, he was just like, if you don't come to practice with some energy, you best bet you gonna get some.
Oh, he said madman. Here it goes. I got it quoted. They said, have the coaches been limiting you since you come in? He said, man, heck no. They threw me straight in the fire since day one. He said they want the best for you. He's a madman. That's what he is. What he is. Talking about Chris Kocurek. He's a madman.
I'm telling you guys, if you missed this interview by chance, I don't know how, but if you are watching this show and you missed that interview, please go back and watch it. It was really, really good. Our first time hearing from the rookie since practicing with the team. And Nick is right. He did this thing where he put his arms over the mic and it was like a constant like tapping. But I think it was a concentration thing. I really do.
I was like
thick. And
I was like, you sound like me saying right now, bro, but you're tapping.
Yeah, he was good. I love this interview, man. He bore his soul to the people out there. It was really good. So solid showing from him. And guys, solid showing from you. I'm gonna try to bait y'all in some tweets tomorrow. So that way next show I can put y'all out there. So I'm gonna get y'all on something. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get y'all.
Bam, 23 days left until the kickoff. 23 days to kick off.
Akello days. 23 days until we see Akello as the starting right corner on the 49ers, man. That is phenomenal. That is
just like the days in the world, they're inconsistent. They're always different. The Akello days.
All right, guys. Any final thoughts? You know what? I'm gonna kick off final thoughts this time. I'm gonna kick off final thoughts, man. The team is going through some turmoil. The team is going to lose people. We know that, unfortunately, injury is a part of football, and it's about the depth. It's about overcoming and surviving. It's about not panicking. And I'm starting to see a little bit of the panic and the faithful on the timeline and things like that. Guys, we got to relax. Not every injury is season ending, and there's nothing that this team cannot overcome if they play together like they did last year. Last year, we had more injuries than what we're seeing now, and people are already hitting the panic button. Take a step back, inhale, and relax. Those are my final thoughts.
Guys, man, it's training camp. Injuries are going to happen. Let's just hope that we keep them to a very, very minimum, right? We can't go out there and blast these guys when they get hurt, do all that other stuff. Look, we talked about this on the last episode. It's their job, man. It's their livelihood. Like, they don't go out there purposely get hurt, right? It's football. There's injuries going to happen. Let's just hope that we keep them to a minimum so that we can go into the season pretty much as healthy as possible. Keep your faith. And look, man, 23 days till the kickoff, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, man, there's a quarterback from the team called the Green Bay Packers at one time when they were like 0 something. And he reached out to the reporters and he said to the reporters, relax. That's all I'm asking you guys to do. We're going to be okay. We're going to be better than okay because we're going to be back in the Super Bowl. We know we have the best system. We have the best front office. They figure out how to get things done. They get players. Look, don't forget, players want to come here now. All right. So there's going to be some guys that we may have to go out there and get that want to be here. So, guys, relax. We're going to be fine. Make sure you keep tuned in to Nothing But Niners, guys.
And that's going to do it for us here tonight. Thank you, guys. We hope you enjoyed the show. Hit that thumbs up button and make sure you tell someone to subscribe. Also, give us a follow over on the Fan to Fan Network. Tell somebody who's not even a 49ers fan to check it out because all teams are represented over there. That's going to do it for us, man. Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
But always remain faithful, y'all.
We out of here. Peace.